dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Hey man, what's going on? It's DieHard Derek back here with the Midnight Hustle. You know the spot because you came back. You know, I bring all the goods here and I bring all the good people. Today I'm talking to, well, he calls himself now, he's the Smoke Train Conductor, but you know him as WWE Hall of Famer. He was Papa Shango, but he went into the HOF as the Godfather, and he's over here to roll a fatty for all you peoples out there. So give it up, my man, Charles Wright. What's going on, man? How you been?
What's going on, my brother? Thanks for having me on the show, man.
I'm so glad that you're here. It's been a long time. I've wanted to get you on. Obviously we're going to talk wrestling. We got to talk about your career, but we'll get to that in a minute. I want to talk about something you got a passion for. It's this cannabis, man. I don't know if I should be saying that you're an advocate because you're not out there on your soapbox like, yo, legalize that shit, or if you just like, yo, I like to smoke. I don't give a fuck where it's legal. Just let me smoke. Let me be me.
I'm more of a connoisseur.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
You know, I don't really try to get people to smoke, bro. I tell people what smoking has done and how it's changed my life, okay, and what it's done for me, but it ain't for everybody. Right. So I ain't one of them dudes who's like, hey man, I'm not that dude. If you do, or if you have any questions or you want any answers, I got a lot of them, you know, but you know, like I said, it's what it's done for me in my career.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, people still give it that stink eye, and politicians out there, it's probably because they're still in bed with big pharma. They're like, no, we got other drugs we're trying to push over here. Weed's going to fuck up our profit. But it's okay when they start, you know, prescribing zombie pills because your kid's got ADHD. Like, yo, give him a hit of THC. He'll be just fine. He said I'm right. But, you know, in your case over here, like I said, you're not necessarily telling people that they should smoke it, but tell us a little bit about how it has helped you.
I started smoking cannabis for the first time at 27 years old. The reason it took me so long is, I mean, I'm 60 years old now. So I came up in that time, you know, where this is your brain and this is drugs, and you know, they scared the shit out of us. And I was a hell of an athlete, and I was brought up that athletes don't do drugs, and especially not that marijuana. And so then when I went to college, I played football in college. I'm like, dude, all these great fucking athletes from track to, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. I got
no, please do.
From track to football to basketball, baseball, all these dudes are like smoking. But I still didn't smoke. But it was okay to drink a bottle of Jack and take some pills. It was okay to do that, but don't smoke that marijuana. So at 27, I'm in the what was it? F at the time, right? Okay. And I came in as Papa Shango. And I'm taking, now mind you, now I'm getting hooked on serious pills because now I'm on the road. I'm taking Somas, Vicodin, Vicaprofen, Percocets, Percodans, Halcyons, I mean, list A to Z, and drinking a bottle of Jack a day. And so I was going through a really bad divorce. And I went to see a friend of mine in LA, and I met this guy named Big Worm. God rest his soul, he's not with us no more, but he got me to try it. 27 years old. So I try it, and I'm like, after a little while, I mean, and this he's like sells to the all the stars and all the celebrities. So he has the chronic, he has the, you know, he has the fire. So I never started off on swag or nothing like that. I started off on the fire. So I smoke it. I think I smoked a bong hit or a joint. I'm not sure what I did, but I smoked it. I'm like, you know what, man, my elbows don't hurt no more. My back feels better. Dude, I'm moving around better than I would in 8. I'm like, man, this is the best hamburger I ever had in my life. A short time after that, within a year, I'd given up. I still drink, you know, I have a drink every now and then. But no pain pills, no over-the-counter prescription drugs whatsoever. The heaviest I take is either Advil or Aleve. I think it's called the Aleve, one of the two. But I refuse to take anything. Like I said, I'm 60 years old, and I think it preserved me. I think it's done nothing but good for me. It made me more creative. I'm not one of them. I am a stoner. But I'm not one of those stoners that gets stoned and lays around and does nothing. Right. I'm one of them stoners that get stoned and let's do this, let's do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go clean the house. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go work out. I'm one of those guys. So my friends, most of my good friends say I'm the most productive stoner they've ever met in their lives. But it just really works for me. And to this day, man, it really, I think it saved my life, because if I would have kept going down the path that I was with all those pills and drinking, man, it was going to catch up to me sooner or later, like it has so many other wrestlers.
Right, right. No, I get you, man. And it's funny because I started smoking around the same time, about 28 or so. And I was going through divorce too. And I'm hurting, I'm aching, I've got anxiety, I've got depression, everything that's going on. That opened my mind up. Luckily, I ended up working things out. My wife, we never, we kicked out of the whole divorce proceedings and stuff like that. But I'm like, had I known what this stuff does, and at that time they weren't even talking about legalizing. It was still a dirty word out there. And I'm like, yo, I feel better. I feel creative. I feel motivated. I'm not lazy at all about it. But it takes away that monkey on your back. And I had anger issues. I would start a fight with anybody. I started a fight with you. I know you're a bouncer. I'm like, yo, look, this ain't gonna end right for me. But my anger would you get that Napoleon complex. I feel like a chihuahua. Not anymore, man. I'm mellow. I'm happy. I just want to joke around with people. I want peace and love. I just fuck all that shit. I don't need all that tension in my life, and I'm good. So, what do you smoke? You sativa or indica?
I'll smoke either. If I have, there's very few pure sativas or pure indicas out there anymore. Everything's a hybrid of one or the other. There's very few pure things. They both affect me the same way. If I had my choice, I'd probably go sativa. I do more dab. I'm probably 90% dabber and then 10% flower.
Okay.
But I'm a big dabber because the flower is more just to mellow me out. It doesn't get me medicated the way that I want to. And I think that's partly because, I'm like 15, 20 dabs a day.
Right. Oh, you going that deep? All right. So you smoking all day long. It's not like, all right, yeah. I took care of my responsibility. Let me kick off the night with a drink and a little bud.
A drink is very seldom. Bud is, I get up, I go to bed really, unless I'm on the road, I go to bed at home here in Vegas by 9:30, I'm asleep. Right. And I'm up by 3:30 in the morning, and I'm smoking right away. First thing I do every morning, rain or shine, is I'll roll a joint. I'll go get in my jacuzzi and I'll start my day smoking a joint. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see me out there at 3, 4 in the morning, sometimes smoking. And I start my day. I go to bed by 9, so I don't eat past 6, and I usually don't smoke past 6. So you're just wasting the high. You're just going to sleep high. Right. But I caught bronchitis 2 weeks ago. I'm just getting over it. That's why I might sound a little stuffy and wheezy. And I'm not supposed to be smoking, but I took a couple hits like an hour ago. But I wish I wouldn't have, because I'm already caught. You're already feeling that choke, right? Yeah. So I've been doing some edibles, I'm not trying to advertise for nobody, but this stuff here, it's called Liquid Karma. Oh. And this is 4 ounces. It's 1,000 milligrams of THC syrup. And I've tried a lot of these before, and they kind of, when this one says it's 1,000 milligrams, it's 1,000. And I was on a podcast yesterday, and I drank almost half of it. So I took a little, I took in about 500 milligrams. And about the end of the podcast, I couldn't even talk. I was like, so that's what I've been doing. The edibles, I don't really like the high from the edibles, and it's more of I don't like that high. And so I don't do much of them. But right now I'm surviving on this THC syrup. And like I just took a couple bong hits out of my Papa Shango bong. Yo, I'm loving that, man. Was that custom made for you? Yeah, Jerome Baker, famous blower. He has Las Vegas Dream Factories here in Nevada, or in Las Vegas. And he blew this, they blew this for me, this Papa Shango piece. Nice. It's old school stem. That's old Jerome Baker piece, All right. So are you mostly bong, or you do bowls and blunts? Brother, I don't do any blunts. The cigars, I don't like the wraps anymore. I do rips off of just bong rips. I'll hit rips off of the G pin, the rips. I'll hit that. I'll hit the Rio. Okay. I'll hit the you got the toys. You got a Lego factory over there. Oh, bro, you wouldn't believe all this shit I have. But people send me a lot of stuff. Okay. The cool stuff I keep. The other stuff I give away.
All right, all right. So let me ask you a question. I know you're down with Cypress Hill and Dr. Green Thumb dispensaries. I heard that there's a Godfather and a Shango strain. Is that out yet?
Well, there is no Shango strain yet. We're working on that, but there is.
Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about,
It's
baby.
called
Right.
Insane Godfather.
Wow.
Yeah, it's at all the Dr. Green Thumbs in LA. They've been out for like a couple of weeks. There's supposed to be some more out Friday. But yeah, man, it's really good stuff. You know, that's all I got left of it in here.
Yo, next time I'm out in Vegas, I'm gonna find that. So wait, it's not in Vegas, so it's only at their dispensary in
California.
California. All right.
California. I do have a strain coming out in Vegas real soon, and I have some edibles coming out, and I have a candy bar coming out that has THC. But that's all in the works.
Nice. And you're getting kickback from that, obviously, because they're using your likeness. You're getting a kickback because they're using your likeness. They got.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you do a collab with these guys, you get paid.
Good, man.
You know, so but it's not even about that. It's not even about that. It is, but it isn't. I mean, I'm no millionaire, billionaire, but I'm all right. I'm doing
right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
And you know, if it's not good stuff, I ain't gonna put my name to it. This is all the insane. Insane is Dr. Green Thumb, Be Real's brand.
Okay.
So Dr. Green Thumb, they sell all brands, but the Insane is more exclusive. It's a little bit more expensive, but anything that says Insane on it is fire. There ain't no, It's all fire.
I'm gonna check that out.
All fire.
That's good shit there. So let me ask you a question when it comes to weed in sports, because like a lot of the teams and the major league organizations, they're starting to say, oh, you know, we're cool. We're gonna let it slide. If it shows up in a piss test, we won't consider it dirty. But you look at sports entertainment. I mean, Manny Machado ain't doing like 450 splashes off the top rope when he slides into third base. And Vince McMahon is just like, yo, if we test you for piss, that's it. It's a wrap. You're done. You're out of here. Like, how can a professional team of professional athletes be okay? Like, look, weed is good because it's better than you being on steroids. It's better than you taking painkillers and getting addicted to opioids. I don't have to worry about you partying all night because you're probably going to fucking pass out in your hotel room and you're going to make your flight the next day. But WWE still has that stank on weed. What's up with that?
Well, what you're failing to realize is that's a big corporation and they answer to a lot of people. So if they let people smoke weed that's not federally legal, then he's still breaking the law, no matter if it's legal in states. If it was up to Vince would have everybody smoking. Vince is no fool, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, he has people to answer to, and it's a big company. He just can't say, okay, it's okay to smoke weed, because what happens if you go to some state where it's not legal?
Right.
They bring the police in, they test you, and I mean, there's a lot of legal things. It ain't because Vince don't want to. The second it becomes legal, Vince will be the first one on that wagon. I mean, Shane owns a co-op in California, a big co-op.
Oh, get out.
He's not against weed. He's just, he's a businessman.
Right.
He would I'm telling you, I know this 100%. Take it from me. He would much rather see people smoke cannabis than all this other stupid shit if it was up to him. Believe me.
It gets me because, I mean, now it feels like it's the prohibition days where some places it's legal, some places you got to hide it, you got to get it from your boy, your hookup, you connect. Like you said, once it becomes legal everywhere, you know, nationwide, we shouldn't have a problem with it. I just feel like right now, how do you look back in the 90s when you were in the midst of the Attitude Era and you have this character, you're going out there talking about rolling a fatty and doing all these things? How are you actually getting your weed to the shows?
You
were like rolling in your butthole, like, yo, I got this.
I smoked the whole time I was in the WWE. I'm not going to discuss my test or my health record, but I smoked the whole time I was there. And I kind of had an unwritten rule with people that I wouldn't travel with it. Because you know, the worst thing you can do is be caught. Godfather gets caught in the airport with an ounce of weed, and so I would not travel with it. I mean, it's easy to get. It's like anything's easy to get, but I got it through my hose.
The hose? You sending a hose out doing the dirty work for you?
No, what I would do is after I used them one time. I mean, you make the loop, so you're gonna say you're where are you at?
Right now I'm in Tampa, but I'm originally from Brooklyn.
Okay, so say we're in Tampa. So they go down to the dollhouse and they pick up some girls.
Yeah.
So then the next time they come, they do the deal. So I'll tell them, hey, listen, if you want to do this next time we're in Tampa, because you're going to be back in a loop in 4 months or so, you're going to be back there. I would tell them, this is what I want. All you have to do is show up. Don't have to wait for anybody to call you. Don't have to wait for anybody. Just show up. You say you want a Godfather's hose. I'll take care of that part. This is what I want. And I would tell them, because usually you're only there one day. I was like,
right,
dude, I need a quarter, half ounce of the best weed you got. I probably would ask for a half. I'm like, I want you to get my sin. And I'll be honest and tell you what I used to tell them. I'm like, I need either from I don't care if it's your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever it is. I said, but they'll be so glad you ain't sucking my dick that you're going to get me some good weed. And so and then it got to the point where they would want the girls to meet me at the hotel because they would have a limo take me and the girls to I would show up dressed as the Godfather. So they would take us to the building. So the girls would show up to my hotel room a couple hours early, and I'd take them down there to the pool. And if they drank, let them drink. If they took pills, let them take pills. If they smoked, we smoked. But they would bring me my weed. But I mean, after a while, bro, I can't go anywhere without people giving me weed. The only thing is a lot of times you get boofy, bunky weed, and I won't smoke that shit. So I try to be polite and I'll take it. But I throw away a lot of weed.
You
ever give it away because I refuse to fly. I will not fly with it. It just I mean, I could have it seconds when I get off the plane when I need to fly with it. And usually it's not that good.
Yeah, why take the risk? You ever have to raise your pimp hand to a hoe that brought you some Reggie with some thick seeds in them?
No, man. No, I never. You know what? I don't think I ever got no bad. No, I'd never get that with no seeds in it. But if I didn't really like it, I usually probably had a backup on me anyway, and I just give it to the boys that did smoke. I'd go, hey man, I don't smoke it, because I also, no matter where I went, I had friends that I smoked with, and so like, hey Godfather, I got you covered, man. After the show or where you staying at, I'll bring it by your hotel. I had no lack of cannabis, believe me.
It's good.
No lack of it. Ever.
And with the gimmick, they knew you were looking anyway, so they were already prepared once they came to the show.
WWF was promoting it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the only wrestler, and there's RVD and whoever else you want to put into this mix. I'm the only WWEF wrestler to ever have an authorized shirt from the WWE that has marijuana leaves on it. I had 2 of them. So, I mean, that was the gimmick. But I'll tell you this, the WWEF, that whole thing, they've always been super cool with me. And they didn't fuck with me. I just let it go at that. Good.
Vince knew you smoked, though. He was aware. The boss knew before they went public.
Vince is very aware that, everybody's very aware that I smoke.
You never were like, yo, Vince, hit this shit. You might write Raw better next week.
Never seen Vince smoke. I've never seen Vince smoke. And if he did, he wouldn't smoke behind anybody, because he's smart because of germs and stuff. But I mean, he's not against it. He's good. Seen me smoke plenty of times.
Yeah.
Bro, I never hid the fact that I smoked. And that's why we did the gimmick, is because that's what I did. So I never hid it from nobody. I was proud of the fact that I wasn't taking pills and drinking. And then at my age, if you look at other wrestlers my age, man, they look bad, bro. It's because they're still drinking, and not just wrestlers, just entertainers, whatever. They're still partying like that. They're still taking the pills. They're still drinking, and it catches up to them, man.
You said you just turned 60 recently?
In May, I turned 60 years old.
Bro, you don't look at it at all. Yo, I
don't act it either.
Yo, I just watched Fast and Furious 9, which is the drizzling shits, by the way. I know John Cena's in it, whatever they get. But yo, you could easily play Vin Diesel's older brother. You got the voice, you got the note. You look like it, my guy. And as I'm saying, you still look young. 60? Never. I never would have guessed.
Yeah, most people are surprised. And, I was talking with Taker a couple of days ago, and he's like, and we were talking about Vince, and he told me that I'm like, Dad, he's like, Vince asked about you, and we just said this. And I showed him your bag and everything. So I mean, they're really cool with me. But Taker even tells me, he goes, bro, he's 3.5 years younger than me. And he's like, bro, I look like I'm 20 years older than you. He goes, and he knows, because he's been one of my best friends since about 1988. And he's like, bro, that cannabis is really done you well. I will say this, it's made you a better person. It seemed to have preserved you.
Yeah.
But like you said, you had anger problems. Woo!
You too?
A lot of people know me as the Bear.
Why is that?
And a lot of people don't know, man. I was a biker, like a serious,
that.
heavy duty.
Hold up. I heard you were an outlaw biker. Now, when I think outlaw biker, I'm thinking Sons of Anarchy. You running guns and drugs and shit, like
yeah, but we
shit.
weren't TV guys. We were real guys.
Yo, so you were living the life though.
I was the only black dude in an outlaw motorcycle club. Right. And they used to tell people I was Puerto Rican and shit. I'd be like, I ain't Puerto Rican, nothing against Puerto Rican people. I'm like,
I'm Puerto Rican. I thought
yeah,
you were too.
But dude, I was like the real deal. I mean, I've had all these tattoos, you know. I've had this stuff since I was 85, 86. I've been tatted up. And there was no black people tatted up like this. But it was because I was a biker. But that guy's known as Bear. And Bear is not a bully, but Bear's mean. And Bear takes no shit. And Bear's a totally different person than me. And if I go like 4 or 5 days without smoking, that guy will start coming out a little bit. I'll become a lot shorter with people. I'm not as friendly.
Yeah.
So for me, it's medication.
Okay, I get it. It's just personality adjustment, I guess.
Bro, like I said, the only reason I'm smoking now like I smoked today is because I'm not supposed to. They're asking me to take like a week off. It's hard for me to do.
Yeah.
And B Real's like, bro, I'm like, B, you know more than anybody. Shit, I smoke all the time, bro. I mean, you can't smoke for 33 years straight, and then all of a sudden, I mean, it's part of my life, and it's like a cigarette habit almost with me. I just enjoy smoking.
Right.
And then the fact that I dab all the time.
Yo, it's funny because when I was doing my research, I know you were a star athlete in high school, and I think you got a full ride to college and stuff like that. And then you end up in the strip club industry. Now, I guess being a biker makes sense where you were hanging out a lot of the times. Like, yo, fuck it, I'm gonna work over here. I can make better money than getting a 9 to 5. But what's it like getting into the strip club business and adult entertainment and then staying in it for so long and being successful at it?
I just got out of it. I was part owner of a club called Cheetahs here in Las Vegas, and we sold it 3 years ago. But up until that, man, the whole time I wrestled and everything, I was still part of that business. I had got hurt playing football, bought me a Harley, started messing with strippers, started bodyguarding strippers. I'm only like 19 years old and shit, working in clubs, bodyguarding for strippers. And then when I got out of college in like 83, I got out of college and I'm like, what am I going to do now? And so, I mean, I got hurt. I hurt my knee real bad. So that kind of screwed up football. And like, what am I going to do now? So a friend of mine's dad owns some strip clubs in Las Vegas. And he's like, hey, Big Bear, man. He goes, these guys making $300-400 a day. I mean, back in the 80s, that's a lot of money.
Right.
He goes, all you have to do is come out here. So I went home, and I was married at the time. I had a 55 Ford pickup. I had a bike, and then we just bought her a 1983 Mustang 5.0. They just came out, convertible. And I was working for a trucking company. So we loaded all that shit up, moved to Vegas, started working as a bouncer. I was maybe a bouncer for a month.
Okay. And
then the two bartenders got fired for beating the hell out of somebody. And from that point on, I was never a bouncer again. I was either a bartender or a manager or an owner that would bounce.
Check that shit out. That's good. That's good. My he's a brother to me, but he passed away about 15 years. You might have known. You remember Billy Firehawk?
I remember the name.
Yeah, he was an ex-wrestler. He lived out in Vegas. His wife did some work out there too, some S&M work. But he was one of the bouncers at a couple of different clubs out there. He used to mention you all the time at the Cheetah. So we used to roll up. Yeah. Like, he's not at the house, but big guy. Like passed away.
Bear's got a reputation in their places.
So, all right, let me ask you this, because again, parallel lives that we're living over here. By trade, I'm a video producer and director. That's why I create content. I do all the stuff with the radio stations and then just whatever, right? Also the rest of the business. But then once people see your work and they're like, hey man, you're really good at that. Would you consider shooting adult entertainment? I was like, well, if the money's good and I'm not on video, why not? I'll be the Tarantino fucking porn. I don't give a shit.
Right.
How come you never made that transition there to make that big bucks? Go, you in Vegas already. AVN's rolling through.
Well, you don't think you make big bucks in a strip club? I guarantee I guarantee you guys in strip clubs make a lot more than porno guys.
Oh yeah?
A lot more.
Okay.
I mean, shoot, don't kid yourself, bro. It'd be easily make a couple $100,000 a year at a strip club. Easily make that much.
Yeah.
That's not taxed. Not that I did, but I mean, don't kid yourself, man. There's a lot of money in that business, especially when you get to the level of a manager, a general manager, or an owner.
But you said you sold what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, it was like a year before COVID hit.
I was gonna ask, how'd you get through COVID? Be like, yo, no lap dancing, don't slide the dollars in her ass crack.
There was three owners. I owned 22% of it, which was a good chunk. And I was trying to get him to sell it. I'm like, dude, this business is changing, and it has changed. And then they finally sold it, but and I got my little retirement money out of it. And it would be hard to get me to go in a strip club these days.
Yeah. Okay.
I just don't have
it's too much for you already? It's already out of your system?
Bro, I mean, that's a lot of years being around naked women, man. And
I know.
It's people have changed, the girls have changed, the business has changed. It ain't my cup of tea no more, man. I'm glad we sold when we did.
Yo, but shout out to your wife, because like me, we both have wives that are very tolerant of what we do. They give us that trust. They give us that respect. They know we're going to make good decisions. You're out there working strip clubs, managing strip clubs, working as a pimp on TV with hoes in different area codes. And she's like, my wife's the same. She's like, look, go out there, make your money, do what you do best. Don't bring it home. If you want to be with them, then fucking go with them. Don't bring that shit home. But I trust you. And your wife must have been the same thing to you. She must have been that inspiration, because I know she came up with the Godfather gimmick. You always giving her credit, except for the Hall of Fame speech. Yeah, that's heat right there, bro. How you forget her during the Hall of Fame?
She's in. Thank God you would bring that shit up. That I still get heat for that. She's in Peru for 2 weeks. Her and her girlfriend went to Peru for 2 weeks. So to see some shaman and all, my wife's in all that wild shit. But yeah, that was a big mistake.
That was tight.
But you know what? She's the one that came up. My wife, I met her in a club. She was a dancer. We've been married 23 years. She was a dancer when I met her. And she came up with the whole Godfather, everything, man.
Man, that's great.
She came up with everything. She's like, first, my wife was like this. She goes, if people actually got to see what you're really like, they're going to fucking love you. They're not going to make you a voodoo man. They're not going to make you a militant, an ultimate fighter. They're just going to let you be yourself. Yeah. My high self, not the bear, but my high self. Yeah. And that's all it is, man. And we had a jeweler making jewelry, a seamstress making clothes, an airbrusher. We had a bunch of people working for us, and she took care of all that. All I did was stay high and entertain.
That's it. You came up with the dialogue. She came up with the character.
Yeah. To this day, like, you see these hats back here.
Yeah.
I mean, when I get low on hats, she'll replace them, and glasses. I wear the same, she's on top of it, bro. She's, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And this is the God's honest truth. In 23 years that we've been married, never cheated on her.
Why?
Not one time. Not with any of them hoes. Them hoes are hoes, man. I used to tell people what the boys love me because they go through them hoes, but I'd be like, man, what's this hoe gonna do for me? She gonna I got too much to lose, man.
She gonna wait. She gonna raise your kids. She gonna feed you. She gonna clean. Fuck that.
My wife's beautiful. She's a freak. What else you want?
Right. Well, why fuck that up if you got something you're going home to? And the thing is, man, all that time that you're in the strip clubs and you're playing, a pimp on titty, you get desensitized to pussy real quick. You're like, I seen titties. I'm good. I'm gonna go home. Yeah. And that's you don't need that fucking mess.
It's yeah, man. You get then these, it is what it is. Yeah. Thank God, because this wrestling is cool. What people don't know about me is wrestling was my second job. It wasn't my first.
Right.
My first job was the strip clubs. The wrestling part for me was a way for me to have fun and get away from all this nonsense. And at that time, wrestlers were a lot different than, guys were all big, strong, crazy, drinking fools, partying fools. And I was around about a bunch of people like I was, big guys that were, tough guys, strong guys that could drink, could fight, could fuck, and that was a break for me. Wrestling was never my number one job.
It always seems like every time, like even the Shango character, the comic character, once they started getting serious, like, you know what, I had enough. I don't need this. I'm bouncing. Call me if you got something better for me.
Wrestling was fun for me. When I wasn't having fun, I would leave. Okay, I went through a bad divorce as Papa Shango. That's where I started smoking. I left, told Vince, And Vince and Taker were like, man, you might need to leave because I'm getting in fights. And this, mind you, there's no social media back then.
Yeah.
There's no cell phones. There's no, I take pictures of you. There's no ESPN. So whatever happened in the town stayed in that town. And bro, I was getting in like real fights every night where Taker was pulling me off of somebody or, so I just, you know, that's where I said, that's when I started smoking.
So,
but,
you know, you end up, you know, you get into these fights, you get into these altercations out there. A lot of shit's happening during the Attitude Era. I know you calmed down back then, but with the growth of social media, with smartphones itself, could the Attitude Era even happen in 2021 now? The way they partied, the way they fucking went out there and just wild out? Not at all.
That's, but you know what? That was part of the fun of it. Now, I mean, I haven't, the last 2 WrestleManias, in the last 12 years, I've been to WrestleMania 10 times because I'm still under a contract with them. It's called a Legends contract.
Okay.
And they keep you relevant, but they bring you to WrestleMania every year and you're just doing signings and stuff. But I told my wife, I'm like, I don't even want to go anymore because it's not fun. It's a job. It used to be a chance to hang out with the boys, go down we had something called the Bewitching Hour. At 12 o'clock, everybody would meet at the bar. Everybody would get drunk and have fun. Nobody does that anymore because they're too afraid somebody's going to take a picture of them, tape them in a conversation, show them taking shots, show them on some girl they ain't supposed to be on.
Right.
Nobody does that anymore. And when I was in wrestling, not everybody was friends, but you were family. And, you know, it's something I seen. I'm just going to say Dustin Rhodes, and he is a friend of mine. But I seen Dustin Rhodes get in a fight. Even though I might not like Dustin Rhodes, I'd be over there helping him in that fight. Right. And it's not like that anymore. And so it's more a business now, and it's more how many followers you have and, you know, how many likes you get. And it's just a different business now. But I ain't one of them dudes that, you know, I'm not hating on nobody. Wrestling changed. If wrestling has changed, it's because people want it to change. And the promoters are just keeping up with the times. I just say I'm very proud and lucky to have been part of the Attitude Era.
Yeah, man, that was a great time. So, I mean, you mentioned it's family, it's a brotherhood. I'm sure you get this question all the time, talking about BSK. You know, obviously you had DX, the politicians on one, and Vince is here being creative, trying to get themselves over. You guys were more laid back. You guys were more a brotherhood, a family, just like, yo, listen, we don't want none of that bullshit. We just want to do our job, fuck around at the end of the night, have a couple of drinks, play our dominoes, and that's it. Did it cause heat between you and the other groups backstage?
No. First of all, BSK would have went, if it was a real fight, BSK would have went through anybody, no matter what group it was. Okay, but it wasn't about that. I was just as much friends with Razor, Sean, Triple H. I'm still friends with those guys. BSK, like you said, we were a bunch of guys that rode together, hung out in strip clubs together, played dominoes together. That was our crew. But, you know, nobody would have messed with us, but we weren't trying to mess with nobody. It wasn't even about that. It's just about us watching each other's back.
The boys ever be like, yo, Charles, your segment's over, right? You mind if I take one of these hosts to the shower for a little sloppy toppy?
I will say,
you ain't gonna say no name.
I will say this, that probably the happiest time ever in the locker room is when I was bringing them hoes around.
You know, man. So, I mean, playing a pimp character, I mean, one of the things I love about you is that you're not a mark for the business. You're not even a mark for yourself. Yeah. But when you got that call and they were like, hey, man, we want to put the Godfather in the Hall of Fame, like something that a creation of yours that is technically co-created by your wife to be immortalized and enshrined in a Hall of Fame. Again, you were a star athlete as a kid. You go do this thing like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck around in the wrestling business. But now you'll forever be known as a Hall of Famer. Were you shocked to get that call?
Yeah, I thought because of the pimp thing that would hold me up. But I mean, if you really look at the body of work, I mean, people today still talk about me and the Warrior, and I made the Warrior throw up. I was part of building the Rock up to be what he is in the Nation of Domination. I mean, I was part of I was Godfather. I mean, that was just the party attitude. So I was going to the gym, and Mark Carano, who's not there anymore, Mark Carano called me. He's like, hey, Bear, you all ready for WrestleMania? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm ready. He goes, well, who you bringing? I'm like, who am I bringing? He goes, you bringing your wife, your kids, what? I'm like, what the fuck does it matter what I'm bringing, bro? He goes, we want to know. I'm like, well, why do you want to know? He goes, because Vince is putting you in the Hall of Fame this year. He goes, your name came up for the first time. And Vince says, Charles for sure. We're putting Charles in for sure. And so I'm like, cool. I'm like, I never thought a pimp would get in there.
Yo, so let me ask you a question. So being the pimp, right? WWE is notorious for always bringing and trying to incorporate some kind of celebrities in. I know they had Snoop Dogg on many occasions. His entourage usually has pimps, like Don Magic Juan. You never had any heat with some real life pimps because of the character you're portraying?
Dude, I'm 6'5", 300 fucking pounds. Who's gonna fuck with me? With tattoos all over me.
Yeah.
Smoking weed in front of every motherfucking body. Taking a shot of Jack. Who's gonna fuck with me?
I think one guy. What's up with Ice-T?
Long time ago, man. That was squashed. That was a long time ago. And that was probably just as much my fault as his.
Okay.
You know, that was like 92. It was a long time ago.
Oh, that's way back. That's New Jack City days.
Yeah.
Let him try that shit with Sergeant Tutuela. And if I'm like, yo, listen, you don't fuck with hoes anymore, right? You find them dead in a dumpster. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I got no problems with him.
That's good shit, man. It's funny. You mentioned Papa Shango. I was a bit growing up as a kid. I mean, I was already a teenager, but Papa Shango was different. I'm Puerto Rican. I seen my grandmother doing Santeria and shit like that. She didn't like my uncle's girlfriend. She get like the bodega candles and the statues and shit like that. She slaughter a chicken. I'm like, oh, damn, fuck you doing over here? So when you saw Papa Shango, I thought you were Puerto Rican. Papa Shango sound great. So as I got older, I would try to teach my kids, and they always like the guys with the mask or the paint. And I put them on to Papa Shango. They're like, what's Papa Shango? I'm like, yo, hold on, I'll be right back. I painted my face. I chased them around the house. Till this day, they still lose their shit if I mention Papa Shango's name. But yo,
it was supposed to be. It's actually Shango. It's Papa Shango.
Okay.
But I didn't like the way it sounded. It sounded country to me, Papa Shango.
Right.
And so I'm like, I just start saying Shango. I like Shango better because it's actually spelled Shango.
Right. And that's off that Live and Let Die character, that Bond character, right?
That's exactly. When Vince hired me, I was working at a strip club called the Crazy Horse Saloon. Mm-hmm. And he called me at the club and they're like, hey, bouncers, like, hey, Vince McMahon's on the phone. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, what's up? Charles, this is Vince. I'm like, oh shit, it is him. He goes, I want you to go. When he hired me, he goes, you got a body of a monster, but you got a baby face. He goes, I got to do something with your face. Your face don't match your body. And so he called me. He's like, I want you to go rent the movie Live and Let Die. And I already knew the movie.
You knew that shit. All right.
And he goes, there's a voodoo character in there. And that's where they got it from.
All right. But it's a great character. It's legendary. People still talk about it. I know they were talking about rebooting that character at some point, maybe possibly before The Godfather, but there might have been an opportunity for you to jump to WCW and join the NWO. Is it because they came with you with the Godfather gimmick or what happened there?
No, my contract was coming up, and that's whenever WCW was throwing out crazy money.
Right.
So I had worked out a deal with some people, and it was pretty good deal. And then all of a sudden, I'm not getting the call, right? And I'm calling these guys. They're not calling me back. All of a sudden, I see Virgil pop up. And they basically decided to save a lot of money and go with Virgil instead of me because Virgil did it for a third of what I was asking.
Right.
And then they kind of clowned Virgil anyway, and I wouldn't allow them to clown me like that.
Yeah, no, you don't need that shit on your.
So I mean, it was cool because I just resigned as the Godfather.
That's good shit though. So I've been meaning to ask you, man. Back I want to say it was maybe Mania 11. So I had the opportunity to really chill with the boys at the WrestleMania party in I think it was Hartford, Connecticut. And one of the dudes I was hanging with that night was Yokozuna. And then, you see Yoko and Yoko is just like, all right, you don't know he's Samoan, but he plays a Japanese character. But my brother was over there listening to gangster rap and just freestyling in the bar. I lost it. Not what I expected to see. What good Yoko stories you got?
Yoko could rap his ass off. Yoko was a gangster. Yoko was born in San Francisco. Like Yoko's a true gangster. Could rap, could play basketball. I'll tell you a story. I'm driving. Back then, we used to rent cars. You rent Cadillacs or rent Continentals.
Yeah.
So we're in one of the two. I'm driving. Yoko's to the right of me. Paul Bearer or somebody's behind me, and Taker's on the other side. And I'm chewing. I chew tobacco. I'm chewing tobacco, spitting in a cup. I got my Hank Williams Jr. on. This is like I'm Papa Shango. Got my Hank Williams Jr. on, singing, driving down the road, spitting, yeah, just singing. Yoko's sitting over there, right? Yoko looks at me, looks at the cassette deck, looks at me, looks at the cassette deck, rolls his window down, or put his window down, ejects my tape, grabs it, and throws it out the window. And I'm like, man, what the fuck you doing, man? He goes, hey, motherfucker, anybody ever tell you black? I mean, I listen to black music, but I mean, from 1980 to 1990, I just listened to country music. So there ain't a country song written in the 80s up to the 90s that I don't know. And it was just what I listened to because those are the type I was hanging around bikers.
Yeah.
I mean, you're listening to Led Zeppelin, Leonard Skinner, you know.
Right.
You're well cultured. Country music.
Yeah, just not for that car.
No. So then I restart, at that point, that was the end of country music. It never came back in the car.
Yo, it's funny. You mentioned that. I worked for WCW for a couple of years. I was doing like their online stuff. And I had the opportunity to really to hang out with Curt Hennig. But Curt had a bad night. It was during that whole rap is crap thing. He was singing the country music. And we go into the bar. And I didn't like bothering the boys because I'm not one of the boys. I just happened to work there. He's like, yo, DieHard. Oh, here. So I'm like, oh, what's up, Curt? He's like, we do a shot to Jack, but I want you to gargle.
Gargle.
So I gargled the Jack. I'm like, yo, I can do this. It's a double shot. Curt wasn't fucking around. So I do the gargle. I'm like, yo, I got this. And I heard that if you gargle the Jack, you get fucked up faster. But he's like, he grabs my throat. He's like, you can't swallow until I say you can. Yo, I've never been more fucked up in my life. You ever have some drinking experiences with Curt Hennig?
I hung out with Curt a lot. Me, Curt, and Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, we had a contest one time because Scott Hall knew more about me than the rest of these guys. And Scott's like, man, Scott calls me Papa. Man, Papa's fooling all you dudes, man. You guys think Papa's this black fucking rapper pimp dude. Fucking Papa's a fucking biker gangster, man. I'm telling you, motherfucker, he knows more country music than you, Curt. And Curt's like, you don't know. So we picked Hank Williams Jr., and one of us would start singing the song. The other would stop. The other one had to come up. I beat his ass.
Oh. And
so, Curt was, I never knew the reason behind gargling it. I think it was just Curt ribbing people to get them to gargle it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you're going to get any higher from gargling or not, but that's what we do. And like, I just did the Stone Cold podcast too long ago, and we gargled shots for Curt because that was a Curt Hennig thing.
Yeah, and like I said, I wasn't gonna like back down. Like, yo, Curt, yeah, even if I threw up all over the bar, I was gonna do it. But the minute he grabbed my throat, I was like, I'm fucked right now.
I ain't never seen that. I ain't never seen him grab the wife's throat. I can imagine if he grabbed somebody. I've never seen him grab somebody's throat.
Yo, it's nuts, man. But I want to talk to you about Papa Shango before we start wrapping up here. I mean, again, great character, man, and so over. Disappointing though, because here you go, you do that running at Mania 8. I know people ask you all the time, were you? I don't know who gives a fuck if you were late at night, you missed you, whatever. But Mania 8, you're doing a run-in in a Hogan and Sid match. Fucked up thing is, once that pay-per-view's over, Hogan's gone, Sid's gone. You still got Warrior temporarily, but it's like, do you feel like maybe because these guys just started bouncing out of the Federation to do other things or for unknown reasons that it kind of hindered your growth with that character?
Oh yeah, I got thrown to the wolves. Especially when Sid was supposed to do a job for Warrior, he quit, this and that. They had nobody else with heat on him, so I kind of got thrown to the dogs. But that's business, bro. And I'm a businessman, and so I mean, it is what it is. On the thing on being late, they just sent me late. I never even knew I was late. I just knew that when they sent me, I was supposed to go. Like I said, I was going through a bad divorce at that time, so. Hogan, Warrior, Sid, they didn't have shit meant anything to me.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing. Again, I mean, I didn't care about Hogan. No, it was no friend of mine.
Right.
Still isn't.
Oh, to this day. I mean, did you have a personal beef with him,
Hogan,
or is it based on his backlash and the shit?
Doesn't even matter.
All right.
It doesn't even matter. He's not the good guy people think he is.
I've heard that. I have heard that, man. But As we wrap it up here throughout your entire career, what would you say is I know you don't like watching wrestling. There's no reason to watch today because it's literally the drizzling shits. But if you had to go back and recommend your favorite match, the one match, say, hey, man, I did that. I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm a former IC champion. What's the match that you go back to of your own?
I don't have it, bro. I mean,
no.
I don't see how people are honest when you've wrestled thousands of matches. I don't see how people can be honest and say that was my favorite, because you probably forgot half of the ones you did. You would have to ask me, what was your favorite match against The Undertaker? Was it Papa Shango? Was it Kama? Was it Goodfather? Was it Godfather? What was your favorite match against Bret Hart? You'd have to ask me what was my best match against that person. There's too many matches, bro. I see people send me shit on Instagram of matches that I don't even remember having. I'm like, oh, I don't remember wrestling that guy. I mean, so I can't. I don't have anything like that.
All right, let me change the question then. What's the best backstage fight you've seen?
There was, I didn't see a lot of fights, bro. It was.
You were probably too fucking high. Like, what happened?
I see D'Lo Brown hook Ahmed Johnson, and he had him hooked. Where me and Ron Simmons were telling D'Lo, let him up. But there wasn't a lot of fighting in the back. Not when I was there.
But you,
I can't think of one fight besides breaking up that D'Lo Brown fight. I can't tell you all those years there. Another one.
You mentioned your best friends with Taker, but was there a rumbling backstage over a hat or something like that?
Yeah, no, that was in a hotel room.
Oh, okay.
That was in a hotel room.
We were just fucking around. There was no heat.
No, well, no, there were no heat. But me and Taker used to get drunk and beat the hell out of each other for no reason, and that was more of a biker thing.
Yeah,
it was more of a tough guy biker shit thing than it was.
That's showing love.
Finally, one day we stopped beating each other up.
Oh shit. Yo, man,
you get drunk. I love you, bro. I love you, man.
Right, yeah, when it's all said.
I love you, man. You know, like drunk shit.
Shit gets sloppy at the bar sometimes, man. Especially after a couple of bottles of Jack. Yo, but listen, man. Before we bounce, tell the people. I don't know. I know you got some merch there. You got the great Smoke Train shirt going on. Tell them where they can find your merch, where they can hit you up. Let them know.
The merch that I have is on prowrestlingtees.com, where we have our own site. I have a lot of shirts on there. Of course, my Cannabis line in California. But the best way with me is my Instagram, man. I'm very active on there. I am the Godfather, all one word on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm the WWE Godfather, but I'm not on there too much. I usually spend a lot of time on Instagram.
All right.
I try to keep the smoking part away from the WWE Godfather part.
That makes sense.
But it don't always work out that way.
Well, they already know. Once they find, like, oh, that's him. We found him.
I just, if Vince really wanted to fuck with me, he could over my name. And they're so cool with me. Yeah.
He does. Okay.
He sure does. Papa Shango, all of them. And he's so cool with me that I don't try to do nothing to disrespect him or anything, because, bro, he's been super. Taker actually said, I swear he said this a couple of days ago. He goes, Vince has got a special place in his heart for you. And he goes, Vince likes real people. He goes, and you're a real dude. He goes, and Vince sees that. So he really appreciates real people.
That's awesome, man. You see yourself going back for anything other than, like, the Manias, just
no,
rehash 11's life?
No, sir. No,
you were there for that Taker night, though. Did you take your appreciation?
Yeah, I didn't wrestle.
No, you didn't wrestle, but I'm just saying, but just to be back in the atmosphere with the boys. The guys that you used to run with, they're all wrapping their careers up now. So you really don't have a reason to go back to hang out with the young guys. But just to be there one last time, was it a good night?
Like I said, I'm under contract with them. If they asked me to do something, I would do it, but I'm cool with not.
I prefer not.
Real busy, bro. I'm usually home Monday through Thursday. I'm on the road every weekend. So, I mean, I'm cool just to chill. I'm all right. I'm not looking for no work.
You got a new business you want to put over?
Nope.
Nope, nothing. Everything good. So you just living life now.
I'm basically retired, having fun, bro. And
Dude, that's a beautiful
all these little things. I have a lot of little things that that I'm doing, but I don't have no business or no job, and don't want one.
Yeah, don't need one.
I'm gonna go another 2 years. No, I'm gonna probably go another 2 years. And my oldest is 34. and my youngest is 18, and we just sent him off to college. And so we're going to start wrapping it up pretty soon. I'm going to disappear, then you won't hear from me at all. Wow. I'm going to be growing my hair and growing weed and just staying high and hanging out with my wife and my dogs.
You an empty nester now? How is that?
Oh yeah, yes I am. A really empty nester now because she's gone. But yes, the first time. This is the first time in my life that me and my wife have lived together by ourselves. Because when I married her, I had 2 kids and she had a young one too. And so we've never lived by ourselves. So this is pretty cool. And then she leaves me for 2 weeks. Again,
brother, parallel lives, because I'm going to celebrate my 21st wedding anniversary next week. But we've been parents the whole time we've been together. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. We've been parents the whole time. So my 20-year-old just moved out. My son's 15. He's never home. So I'm like, yo, a couple more years, he's going to bounce. I can walk around my dick swinging around the house. I got to worry about nothing.
I ain't got no pants on right now.
I don't need to see. We don't want to smoke that blood.
I just put on this shirt because you were I've been naked all day.
Good. Well, bro, listen, I could chop it up with you all day. I hope I get to do this again before you wrap it up and disappear off the planet. On top of that, man, the next time I'm in Vegas, if you don't mind, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna smoke some of that weed with you. I want to do this.
Shit.
We're gonna have a good time, Joe. But ladies and gentlemen,
have a good time, I guarantee you.
It has been the one and the only, the WWE Hall of Famer. You know him as Papa Shango. You know him as the Godfather, but that is the Smoke Conductor now. Puff one up for the boy. It's been a good time, man. I really appreciate you taking it here. Anything you want to say?
Just everybody stay on that smoke train, baby, because I am.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. It's been the Midnight Hustle. We out. Can you dig it? Peace. Can you dig it? Can you dig it?